What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you a V2 KATAKURI discussion and showcase video. I was lucky enough to pull this dude back to back with the V1 KATAKURI on, around 18th multi-pull. I know that's a pretty big yikes, but I'm no regrets, alright? No freaking regrets. Happy freaking New Year. Anyway, V2 KATAKURI is a side fighter and powerhouse unit. Is he the best legend in the game? Flat out, very simple answer is no. If you watch my stream, you'll know exactly why. But this guy, he is basically a glass cannon, but he's a glass cannon that takes ages and ages and ages to hit max potential. So in that sense, it's a pretty iffy subject. It's down to your personal preference. I personally love using this unit. 1, he is KATAKURI. 2, the voice acting is superb. I have got it muted in the video though for the sake of adjusting volume. It's much easier if I just have all sound off. But he is one of my favorite voice actors. And of course, he just does tons and tons of damage if you can get to that point. Let's go over his captain and special and then we'll discuss further. So he will boost fighter, slasher, shooter, driven and powerhouse units by 1.825 times cumulatively. So if you have both of those classes or 2 of any of those classes, you will get a 3.33 times attack boost. If you only have 1, then 1.825 times. If you have neither, it will be 0 times attack boost. He will boost color affinity of normal attacks by 1.4 times. This works both ways. So for example, if you have a strength into a dex attack, you will get 1.4 times extra boost. If you have a dex into a strength attack, you have 1.4 times less of a boost. So he will also treat strength, psi, meat, tandem as beneficial, which is pretty good. 4 of the 7 orbs. He will heal for 50% of damage taken during the battle when you move on to the next battle. Now you can replace the word battle with stage. So for example, in stage 1, if you take 25,000 damage, you will heal for 25,000 damage when you move into stage 2. So basically with double KATAKURI, you have 100% heal. Now, what I've learned is that this V2 KATAKURI is best paired up with a Gear 4 Snake Man captain. Surprise, surprise. The 2 rivals, should I say. But those 2 put together, such a freaking insane combination. You get teams with like over 50,000 HP and you're healing for tons at the end of each stage. Very good for Forest. But with a double KATAKURI V2 team, things get a little bit tricky. Now his special, we all know, is what makes people think he is the best legend in the game, or he's freaking busted. But I will have to disagree with that. But let's go over the special first of all. He will deal 30 times damage taken up to the point of special activation. Entitled damage to all enemies for a maximum of 6 million damage. So that's 200k max damage taken or absorbed. For 1 turn, add 15 times the damage taken as tap timing bonus damage. So like Raid Sabo or Legend Inu, that extra tap timing damage, and this hits for 3 million per tap, so a maximum of 18 million damage for 6 people. Now if you get to that threshold of 200k damage taken, then you're essentially given with 1 special up to a max potential 24 million damage with just 1 special, which is pretty darn insane. Having said that, who in the world is going to, outside of Forests anyway, be stalling 200,000 damage? That is a crazy, crazy amount of damage to take. And realistically speaking, most of the time, if you're trying to do things within the 15 turns that he has the cooldown for, 15 turns, 1 is already high in itself. But if you want to maximize the potential of special, you're realistically going to be stalling for anywhere between 20 to 30 turns. But if you want to do it within the 15 turns of having his special up, you're really not going to be hitting those big numbers. You're not going to be having 6 million damage with the automatic hit that hits everyone. You're most likely going to have like 1 million, maybe 2 million if you stalled a little bit extra, and that's still a push. So most of the time you're only going to have like 1 to 1.5 million damage with that hit, and then with the extra tap timing damage, you're not going to have that much noticeable extra damage, maybe 1, 2, 3 million damage extra, which is still a good amount. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good amount. But if you're sacrificing 2 captains for that, in my opinion, that's why I think he's much better paired off with Gear 4 Snake Man. Now, if I was to put him in a top 10 list, he's definitely a top 10 legend overall. I would probably put him at around number 5, maybe number 4. For me, Gear 4 Snake Man is, along with Whitebeard and Marco, those 2 are the best captains in the game and probably the best overall legends in the game, followed by the normal Gear 4, the V2 version, the quick version that came out on the anniversary. And then either Carrot or Katakuri. Depends. It really depends on preference. I guess for speed and being able to trespass or bypass barriers, it's got to be Carrot for me. I'm not a furry, guys. You know, I love my boy Katakuri, but this dude, he is a slow charging glass cannon. I will show you guys that in the gameplay. I do fail several times in some of this gameplay, so do forgive me. I'm not the greatest player alive. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to say it because it does trigger people now, I am aware. Calling myself a sugo-fest king, which is a joke, by the way, guys. You don't need to take it seriously. I know most people don't take it seriously, but there's, you know, like 20, 30 people who get really triggered when I say that. But it's just a joke. So I'm not good at the game. I just like playing with the characters I enjoy, and like bringing you guys content, of course. But yeah, V2 Katakuri, I would not put him as the best legend in the game. Far from it, to be honest. Whitebeard and Marco still hold that title along with the Gear 4 Snake Man. So if you went for Gear 4 Snake Man, you did 9 multis and you didn't get V2 Katakuri, don't feel too bad, because honestly you're really not missing out on much. You're only missing out on very, very slow gameplay, very satisfying gameplay, don't get me wrong. He's very enjoyable to use. When you see those numbers, it's super, super satisfying. But when you're playing a game for farming and you need to repeat something like 30, 40 times when you're grinding something out, you really don't want to be using the slowest team in the world. You want to be using a very fast team, so you want to go with someone like Gear 4 Snake Man. Or Carrot. If you can use Carrot, always use Carrot. If you can use Hody, always use Hody. The other thing though is, this guy's a very, very good friend captain. So leeching is now becoming more of a meta thing. You're pairing up different funky captains, whether you pair up with 6+ Frankie, Gear 4 Snake Man, Whitebeard and Marco, Brook, Legend Brook, Usopp, you know, all these different random captains. You can pair them up with V2 Katakuri. Works very, very nicely. You can also, with that way, have V2 Katakuri as one captain and have another V2 Katakuri as a sub, which works very nicely as well. In other words though, no defensive abilities with this Katakuri, no HP boost, no tankiness. Although he is a powerhouse class, which means that most of the units you'll be using have like 3,000 to 5,000 HP, especially if you're using legends. With a Whitebeard ship, you can easily hit 40,000 plus HP, which is a lot, but having a full legend team doesn't really synergize that well with V2 Katakuri. Now that's my rambling over. This is like my 5th take. My previous takes were all like 15 minutes long of rambling, so let's now move on to the gameplay. Thank you to the people who have listened this far out. But yeah, the gameplay is coming up now. See you in a moment. So, as you guys can see here, we are doing the Capone Forest. I am not using V2 Katakuri as my own captain. I'm using him as a sub with a friend, V2 Katakuri, instead opting for the Gear 4 Snake Man as my own captain. The reason I did that was because Gear 4 Snake Man gives you an insane amount of HP, 1.35 times boost, has a better attack multiplier, and his special is better when used as a captain. Originally, I used this exact team, minus the not V2, the 6+ Mihawk. Spoiler alert for V2 Mihawk, I did not say anything about that, I didn't leak anything, but the 6+ Mihawk was the MVP here along with the V2 Katakuri. But I did need to have that Gear 4 Snake Man as captain. He made life so much easier for stalling and for taking that 200,000 damage. The first time I did use double V2 Katakuri, I died to Jinbei's attack because he hit me for like 35k damage, and my HP was only around 30k with double V2 Katakuri. So, big difference when you use Gear 4 Snake Man as a captain. With V2 Katakuri special here, 16.6 million damage. 3 million damage per tap, guys. That's the 200,000 damage stored up. I'm very happy here because I took around 2.5 hours trying to do this forest with a V2 Katakuri, double V2 Katakuri team, and then I just gave up. You know, with my box, I didn't have the correct subs or the correct limit breaks, and I just decided, you know what, screw it, I can give up. I'm going to opt for Gear 4 Snake Man. It will still showcase the prowess of V2 Katakuri. But, as I emphasized earlier on, guys, he's a very much a glass cannon. He's not tanky, no damage reduction, so do keep that in mind. Don't overhype him, he is not the best legend captain in the game. That's all I can really say. And of course, pretty damn so. Next up, we have got Raid Cracker. So with Raid Cracker, as you're going to see, I am definitely using the most free-to-play friendly team that you'll ever see. The reason I'm using this very, very free-to-play friendly team is because I needed a lot of HP. So yes, it is a full legend team. They're all powerhouse units with insane HP stats. I just really needed a crap ton of HP. Now you'll see in this video that I actually only use Katakuri special. That's pretty much why I wanted to have tons of HP so I could try and make the most of it. But having said that, you know, this is the first time I've ever actually done Raid Cracker, believe it or not. Pirate level almost 600, and never done raid Cracker. Having said that, I had several copies of him thanks to the recent Big Mom event. Not the Big Mom event, the recent Katakuri vs Gear 4 Luffy event. But you can see it's not that easy to get high HP. My Marco, Whitebeard and Marco aren't fully limit broken, so the HP stack could be a little bit higher. But even with the Whitebeard ship, we're barely over 40k HP. So nowadays, you really do want to be having like safely around 35 to 45,000 HP if you want to run one of these teams where you're going to be tanking a lot of hits. And you can see here, I actually didn't know what was going to happen. I got the orb boost from the bird. Not sure how much that orb boost is. Most likely it's going to be Gabage. But having said that, when you've got V2 Katakuri special and you've taken that much damage, then it's going to be all okay. Now you can see how much damage you've taken in the top left corner, and then you can see that it gets dragged into your HP bar as you heal back up to full. Now Katakuri here, very nice animation, and then instantly kills the stage 4. And then with stage 5, the final boss, you're going to see, sorry about that, you're going to be able to see that he kills all the fodder around instantly. If only that barrier wasn't there. You know, you could also bring 6+ law. I have used 6+ law on a V2 Katakuri team, because the other side of V2 Katakuri that's bad or a little bit difficult to get around is stalling. Like actually stalling on mobs and not killing them, because he has such good beneficial orbs in his captain ability. You're gonna have even like meat orbs. You want to be consuming meat orbs, right? And having those meat orbs count as beneficial can work against you sometimes, because you won't be able to heal that easily if you're using a Whitebeard ship. So do keep that in mind. It's okay to bring one unit that doesn't get any boost, and as you saw there with one special and 3 taps. Cracker, no problemo. Very easy, very simple captain to use, but just very slow. Slow but steady wins the race, I guess, is something you could also opt in for. But as I was saying, stalling wise, if you want to build a V2 Katakuri team, it's not the end of the world if you want to use 1 or 2 subs that don't actually get boosted by V2 Katakuri. It will actually make your life a lot easier for stalling. That's another thing that I should mention as well. Let's move on to the rest of the gameplay. Next up, we have got Diamante Colosseum. It's not the most difficult Colosseum in the world by today's standards, so I would say it's probably slightly above average difficulty. But with V2 Katakuri, you know, you can just bypass everything. If you stall enough, you'll basically be able to use just V2 Katakuri special and easily clear this Colosseum. However, I made a slight miscalculation and I kind of forgot what what Diamante Colosseum does, and I was about to get slapped there, so I ended up having to use the Whitebeard Marco special HP cut, but then V2 Katakuri did the rest of the cleanup. Likewise with other Colosseums that are somewhat difficult, but not the newest Colosseums. The newest Colosseums are the most difficult ones, of course, like Colosseum Kid. Also, you don't really need too many specials other than freeing up V2 Katakuri, so you might need to have like special silence reduction. Now, something I realized while doing Time Skip Colosseum Kid is that V2 Katakuri also has some sort of a hidden restriction, essentially, in that you really do need to take into consideration the impact of the color affinity boost, because with the harder Colosseums or the harder contents in the game, Stage 3 and essentially Stage 4, most of the time, you only want to be using 1, if not any specials at all. So especially for Stage 3, you really don't want to be using any specials. In today's day and age, you want to just be using your normal attacks to break through. And with that in mind, it's very difficult to make teams with V2 Katakuri where you have all the different color matchups that you need to be able to one-shot certain stages. Of course, you don't need to one-shot certain stages if you don't want to go that fast, and you can stall and there aren't any repercussions, like negative repercussions of stalling on a Stage 3 or a Stage 4. But with the most recent Colosseums, if you stall too long on Stage 4, for example, they will do something really mean to you. And of course, you don't want to be on the wrong end of that. So while I built this team, I tried to make it as free-to-play friendly as possible. Big Mom there is literally there for the big HP boost. Without her, I'd probably be under 30k HP. Daruma is essential because I needed the color affinity boost and also a silence reducer. Other than that, V2 Katakuri really does do the hard carrying here with his specials, and you'll see that. But that is pretty much it from me, guys. I don't really know what to say. Let me know what you guys think of V2 Katakuri in the comment section down below. I do want to say he's like a top 5 legend overall, but he's around that area. He's between the 4th best legend to around the 8th best legend. I can make an argument for several other legends why they should be above V2 Katakuri, but overall, Whitebeard and Marco, Gear 4 Luffy, both versions, the 6+ and the non 6+ version, the quick and the strength versions, I would definitely say are better than V2 Katakuri overall as a captain. Maybe not necessarily as a sub, but overall the captain is more important than just as a sub. But there you have it. The other things I guess I could mention is that V2 Katakuri really does improve zombie teams to the next level. They also improve, or I should say he also improves Shirahoshi teams and V2 Aokiji teams to like a god forbidden level. But there you have it. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and bye-bye.